Tencent company. So before leaving the floor to my colleagues here, I'm just going through a very brief and quick introduction about what Tencent is, its history, and for sure its philosophy, values, and vision. So, what is Tencent? As you all know probably, Tencent is a global internet-based technology enterprise, a major player in the Chinese mobile and online market, and probably the only real competitor of the economic giant Alibaba. And it is for sure a top company in the world in terms of market capitalization. Well, Tencent offers a wide array of digital content like social communication platforms, as well as mobile payment solutions, multimedia services, and so on. Now we're going to have a quick overview of Tencent history. Here you can see some of the most important years in Tencent development, growth, and history. Tencent was founded in 1998 in Shenzhen, in Guangdong province. But now I'm not going deep in this history presentation because it could be a little bit boring to you and for us as well. So that's why we decided to have like a more deep look towards the future. And I think that with this idea we are also in line with Tencent philosophy that always look towards the future, towards development and improvement. Tencent's mission is actually to improve the quality of life through internet value-added services. And its philosophy is definitely a user-oriented business philosophy, with the ambitious aim of provide platforms and services that can actually connect everything and everybody. Thank you everyone for your attention. Now I leave the words to my colleagues, to Jessica and Leanne, who's going to talk about Tencent global or no-globalization strategies. Thank you.
So first of all, I'm going to talk about Tencent's current global services, which are Tencent Games and WeChat. So Tencent's gaming service is very well developed globally, and it's even leading the industry. For example, League of Legends is a very well-known game that is enjoyed and very popular in the global market and enjoyed by a lot of global users. WeChat, but not WeChat Pay, is also used globally as platforms for communication. However, as a social media platform, it is not as popular in the global market. So now I'm going to talk about the challenges that Tencent will face in globalization. So first of all, internet censorship. As we all know, China has a firewall that filters all the information that get into China. So as a social media platform that wants to be globalized, it would be a challenge for Tencent, as global users would expect a wider range of content. And therefore, it will be very difficult to satisfy global users. This brings me to the second point, global competitors. So right now, currently, Tencent is dominating the Chinese market. However, when it goes global, it's going to have to face a lot of competitors such as Facebook, Google, WeChat, and Instagram. So especially with the limited content due to the internet censorship, it's even going to be more difficult for Tencent to compete with these huge competitors. And the third challenge is foreign exchange control. As you know, WeChat Pay is very convenient for the Chinese market as it connects business with consumers and it makes the whole process very efficient. However, it will be very hard to be globalized as there's a very strict foreign exchange control. As you guys know, foreigners cannot really link their foreign credit cards to the WeChat Pay, so this is one of the challenges that is faced by Tencent. Now I'm going to pass on to Leanne to talk about the aspects of Tencent services that should be globalized and what strategies they should take in terms of globalization.
So in terms of globalization, there's sort of like three opportunities here. The first one is like non-social media aspects. So we all know we have beyond WeChat, Tencent has so much more going for it, like gaming, we have the cloud, we have the Tencent investments. So WeChat is such a China-specific app, it links to other China-specific apps. So if you go beyond that, there's really big opportunities here. The second one is targeting the overseas Chinese market, and in a lot of places like Taiwan, Singapore, even the US, you have so many Chinese speaking, obviously, you have so many people who are speaking Chinese who can use this app and who are not yet WeChat users, or Tencent users. So the second option is sort of targeting these overseas Chinese, and Tencent is already doing that. That's sort of their start of their globalization process. And then the third one is, do we really need globalization? I think from these past 2 weeks, we've kind of learned how difficult it is to enter into the Chinese market. But going outside, like, it might be difficult, but maybe not quite as hard as entering in. So Tencent already has like basically full control over the entire market here. Do they really need to go global? I mean, I kind of personally believe that Tencent can put out any sort of app and it would just be popular here in China almost immediately. That's a personal belief. But so it's just sort of something to think about. Like, do they really need to go global? And if they do, then they can kind of come up with a strategy. And so now we're just going to go on to gaming.
So Tencent Gaming is recognized as a leading online community in China and is also a leading developer and operator. They've been able to achieve this through in-house research and development, as well as diverse cooperation with leading partners. Tencent has been able to create reliable, fun, and interactive experiences for its consumers. They've been able to achieve this through quality multi-singular gaming. The timeline is quick, but it is monumental and it needs to be discussed. So in January 2003, Tencent Gaming created QQ Avatar Systems, which was the beginning of the value-added services. Social media and gaming systems, the introduction of it allowed for consumers to actually create themselves as avatars and show them to their connections. Come 2007, Tencent Gaming implemented the Blue Ocean strategy, which created a new market for themselves. This is where they shifted their demand from role-play games to actually games such as poker and other experiences. This was a huge step for Tencent as it created their own market and it actually created their own demand for their product. In July 2011, Tencent moved towards the pan-entertainment strategy. This promoted Chinese culture through their gaming by creating characters familiar to Chinese folklore. This again created their own demand and their own products, as this wasn't really seen prior to that. In November 2015, Tencent created Honor of Kings. This is the highest grossing game in 2018, earning nearly $2 billion American dollars. This was only available to them through their successful implementation through fan entertainment. Innovation for Tencent has created a really unbelievable platform for Tencent. By July 2019, they were the #1 users in China for both PC and mobile, which created them the opportunity to be #1 for gaming globally. 33% of the revenue generated by Tencent was actually from online gaming, with 16% also on online advertising. Tencent has been dominant and has a growing platform for gaming, which has a huge potential to grow.
Moving into the different types of categories, as Nicole mentioned, that 33% of Tencent's revenue is based on online games. We can see at the graph to the right, we can see it from year-to-year quarters, and then year-to-year and quarter-to-quarter based on the revenue. We are divided into two different groups that are social networks, that we can see virtual gift sales contribute to the revenue growth in 2018, and also the value-added subscription increased from 0 to 30%, and this was mainly due to the launch of the new video and music apps. We can also see with the online games category that the total cash resident grew around 10% yearly, but the revenue dipped around 1%. This was due to the Chinese government regulation, and it resulted in fewer games released. However, the favorable seasonality and content updates in key titles benefit with sequential growth, so that's why it didn't stagger that too much. And moving on to our recommendation within the online gaming and the gaming industry, we can see that the global gaming industry is quite fierce and competitive, with new games like Fortnite are increasing and taking global market shares, and Fortnite is a big rival for one of Tencent games, as PUBG. Then we divided our recommendation into two groups, asset and entertainment and value-added services. With the pound entertainment, we will still want to recommend to continue the cooperation with the Forbidden City to promote Chinese culture. As we can see, it is an opportunity to expand both internal and global, and with an international marketing campaign. And also, we think it's the most efficient way to integrate the traditional and ancient history of China, and also get the attention from the younger generation. With the value-added services, as explained earlier, the vital revenue of Tencent is based on the online games, and mostly because of the upgrades, experience, or the game currency. This is due for most of the games are for free, but the players have to buy the experience, their characters, or the codes. And also, we want to recommend an opportunity to offer discounts for invited friends, or then you can have an increase in your percentage amount if there's a certain amount of likes and sharing. We also want to have discounts during the holidays weekend, Singles Days, explained earlier, and Black Friday. And also, we want to create a link between WeChat and QQ to have a more creative, specific advertisement connected with the online gaming platform.
Alright, moving on to Tencent's investment arm. So since 2012, Tencent has spent over $60 billion on acquisitions, making it one of the most active investors in the technology world, with over 600 companies in its portfolio at the moment. Tencent's investment strategy is founded upon aiming to leverage and capitalize on its existing 1.3 billion active users on its social media sites, WeChat and QQ. Tencent's investment strategy encompasses a broad range of sectors, including e-commerce, social media, financials, and cloud services. Its investment strategy has provided support at a time in which its gaming and social media core businesses are facing heightened competition and increasing regulatory scrutiny. Over the past year, Tencent's investment strategy has expanded geographically, moving away from its regional core base in China and Southeast Asia to further abroad, including the US, the UK, Germany, Brazil, and China. Moving on, I'd like to introduce the example of Pinduoduo as an example of Tencent's investment strategy in which it aims to maximize synergies between its portfolio companies. So, Tencent realized that without inorganic investment, it would struggle to enter this already saturated e-commerce field and compete with the much larger and established e-commerce players, Alibaba and JD.com. However, it recognized its strategic competitive advantage in its massive social media base. Therefore, it invested heavily in Pinduoduo, an e-commerce platform whose niche lies in its integration of social components into the traditional online shopping area. So, Pinduoduo offers its users invite their contacts to form shopping groups, which then allows them to share discounts for different products. This in turn has driven more purchases on WeChat's payment function as Pinduoduo sells its products on the WeChat payment app. Moreover, while Taobao has 500 million users, WeChat has over 1 billion, with this large discrepancy primarily found in lower tier cities and rural areas. So Pinduoduo and WeChat has focused its targeted users, which already use WeChat as the primary source of information, and now increasingly use the WeChat payment function and the digital wallet. We'll now hand over to discuss the next phase of WeChat's investment.
Thank you. We also included Tencent incubators, which called Tencent Restart, into their investment strategies. Tencent Restart seeks to create a global ecosystem for startup enterprises and by offering a unique platform for them to build and grow their own business. Now we can see we have 15,000 startup projects and 32 spaces and 200,000 members and 35 listed companies already. Next please. And they also provide some additional values such as their operating services, which including IP rights and human resources, something like that. Investment opportunities, they have already have 100 companies there, and education opportunities. Next please. So just 1 minute. Actually, they serve different functions as the as Wuhan Dashi, I think, which is Group 3 4. And if they serve as Alibaba, they can bring their themselves to their clients and target markets. And they also serve as an idea because they can, take care of a lot of administration things. And they also serve as Taobao, which they can build business infrastructures for all this business. Thank you. That's our. Sorry about that.
Thank you, Team 1, for your presentation. I think it's wonderful. I particularly like your, you prepared the slides very well. It's very neat, very clear, which I like.
Among my friends list. So I just want to mention the last highlight duration. So I already used QQ for 13 years, and my friends already used QQ for 18 years. And since we all know, Tencent is founded in 1998, so till now it's already 21 years. So last Thursday, we already went to Tencent WeStart and learned something about Tencent. So these 5 pictures are the 5 founders of Tencent. The first one, CTO Zhang Zhidong, CFO Xu Chenxi, CAO Chen Yidan, but now he is taking more efforts in the charity, welfare, and education part. And the fourth one, Zheng Liqing, former COO, but now he already has his own investment company. And the top this one is our most famous, and we are familiar with him, Ma Huatan, CEO of Tencent. And here is a very brief introduction of Tencent. Tencent company started in November 11th, 1998. And do you remember November 11th? What does it mean in Chinese? It has a special meaning. It's single days in China. And I think maybe there is a very coincidence that the main products of Tencent is QQ and WeChat, which can help us making friends. So maybe we won't be alone on that day. And the corporate vision is the most respected internet enterprise. And since I use the Tencent products for already 13 years, so I think my emotion of the product is both love and hate. So the company mission is to improve the quality of human life through internet service. I think WeChat is a very great example. We can see that. So the English name of Tencent is more based on the famous communication company Lucent. I hope someone you heard that before. And this data has come from the 2018 Tencent annual report. So WeChat and QQ.
So this is the innovation spaces application process, and below are 2 examples of different innovation spaces in 2 different cities. They have different fees and they provide different benefits. Online services. Tencent's online services platform, it provides over 3,000 services divided into 17 categories. Some examples include financial services, business registration, and intellectual property rights. Tencent also invests into content startups by providing funds and resources. Examples include Tencent WeStart Innovation Fund and Tencent Open Platform Interest-Based Content Fund. So one example we came across during our lecture is Pinduoduo. It has Tencent as its biggest investor. Like Alibaba, Tencent also has its own university called Tencent Qingtong University. It is jointly supported by Tsinghua University and CKGSB. It is an allied education platform for the CEOs of current and future unicorns, whereas Qingtong Club is the first community platform connecting unicorn founders. In addition, Tencent WeStart also holds annual conferences and events to gather leaders together. For instance, for the Tencent Global Partnership Conference, it gathers over 3,000 entrepreneurs, IT talents, developers, well-known industrial leaders from all around the world to discuss about current internet landscape and future technology development. So, what's next for Tencent? By the end of the 2020s, millennials will dominate world population. This will provide a wealth of opportunities for Tencent to exploit this tech-literate demographic and to really integrate their technology into every part of daily life. First is the introduction of 5G. This has led to the mass commercialization of technology from virtual reality to driverless vehicles. Whilst 4G for Tencent was a way for them to provide a convenient platform for WeChat Pay and online payment, 5G will require further changes to their business model to maintain their competitive advantage. Tencent recently have been testing their cloud-based games with Intel to create virtual reality products. These rely heavily on 5G because of their high bandwidth. Traditionally, gaming industry was represented around gaming consoles, and it's shifted towards a services model with add-ons and in-game purchases becoming very, very popular. Tencent also launched a website for a product called Start. The description on this website was, "You can play on any device." Global consumer spending on cloud-based subscription services will reach $1.5 billion by 2023. This is according to the IHS market. This highlights the importance of the gaming industry for Tencent in the future. With competitors such as Google, where they run Stadia on the cloud, Microsoft having a streaming service called Project X Cloud, and Sony with PlayStation Now, there is no time for Tencent to waste. They already have big advantages. Firstly, they're the biggest gaming company. They already have cloud infrastructure and they have a license to some of the biggest games. Serkan Toto, who's the CEO of the Canton Games in Japan, said that the biggest advantage of Tencent is that they have direct access to China, and China has the biggest gaming market. Not only this, but Tencent is a game creator itself, so they can continue to make exclusive products for the users of Tencent.
So just two more minutes of your time. We all here use WeChat. We know WeChat, we know QQ. Tencent always focused on social connections and building connections. This is something that they will continue to do. It's something they want to do, but they want to do it in another way. The next stage will be building connections or connecting people and services, people and objects. This will be the foundation of a well-connected new era of industrial internet. Industrial internet is a general term that includes transformation and digitalization of services and industries. Every service, every object should be fully digitalized in order to take advantage of the new technology to get more productive and more efficient. That's why Tencent actually invests actively on artificial intelligence and 5G. These two technologies are complementary and they will help the implementation of the industrial internet. So what Tencent wants to become is actually a digital assistant. This means Tencent will provide the tools, will enhance the communications, and will build an ecosystem. Tencent was always a supporter of an open ecosystem, but right now they're promoting for the next stage an ecology of openness. This means internet is not going to be anymore the core business or an industry itself. Internet is going to be the platform, the connecting platform of different industries, from business to customer and then from customer to business back. We're going to have the whole loop. We all know that Tencent is an internet and cultural giant, and they're not willing to lose their position. They want to keep up. They got to keep up with good work and even become better. So Future is today. They actually actively invest and promote these new ideas. The first examples are already here. They are with the implementation of a AI-empowered transportation system. We have also some e-travel applications in the Yunnan province. So all in all, Future looks very promising, and we'll be here to have a look at what it's going to bring to us. Thanks a lot.
Okay, I appreciate that YouTube has actually provided many more details on top of
Managing mini programs doesn't make sense because Tencent already earns revenue from other types of business, for example, Tencent Games, Tencent Cloud. For example, Tencent, they started like advertising on the WeChat Moments, but they only limited to advertise per user because it's annoying to see the ads when you use WeChat.
So you think Tencent should not charge from the mini program developers?
Maybe for the platform they should charge maybe a fee to create new programs and to put them on the WeChat ecosystem, but not advertising. Maybe some fee to create a new program and be able to put it in the ecosystem. Yeah, I feel.
I think Tencent recently with their gaming, they provide a basic service that people can download for free or like stream for free, and then from that there are add-ons that people can pay for. What they found recently is that our generation are more willing to pay for these add-ons, having already experienced the free basic service.
We use the knowledge we gained throughout these 2 weeks by visiting private companies and enjoying the lectures to analyze one of the hottest startups in China. And I'm coming. So, we're going to skip the intro because by now everyone knows what it is. We'll go straight into the strategy, then explain the strengths and weaknesses, share our what we believe are the opportunities abroad, and then finally end with recommendations. All right, so the strategy we believe is that Anlaya tries to aggressively expand to the remaining Chinese universities. They already operate in 1/8 of the universities, and cautiously enter overseas markets. We've identified the high frequency, low frequency apps. This is mostly related to the local strategy. They aim to get as many users onto the high frequency apps and then translate those to the more low frequency apps. So that's the main idea. Yeah, so we split them up, local and international strategy. We've identified the key indicators of what we believe made Anlaya successful thus far. Firstly, the naturally low cost structure. The fact that they're operating in a dense and very concentrated area. University campuses are not that big when you compare it to a city. The costs are simply lower, and then the fact that students work for them is also a benefit because students are cheaper than other labor. So if you consider the fact that in Europe and in the US, there can only be 1 or 2 profitable food delivery providers in each city. The rest will be unprofitable. It's been proven many times in the past. And the fact that Anlaya is already at so many universities means that they naturally have an advantage and that it's very difficult for other companies to join in this very concentrated market.
So Anlaya uses a number of strategies to encourage sales from consumers, as well as to get more applications from the So some of the strategies include 29-minute delivery service, which we believe to be one of their important sustainable competitive advantages, especially considering how most competitors are 30 minutes or less. So considering that they're delivering from inside, they can reduce their time, which makes it more efficient for students inside.
Yeah, so another very important point, and we all know the expression, data is the new oil. Nowadays, in the era of data, Anlaya has a very big advantage because they're able to collect a lot of data regarding the spending of young adults, and they're able to understand the preferences of these people. Interestingly, during like roughly from your 15th to 25th years old, people choose a product and stick to that product for the rest of their life. That's connected to the fact that Anaya has a long-term strategy of keeping users because they're able to identify which products young adults like, and then there's a good chance that those people will continue using those products in the future.
So, like you just said, so using data collected, Anaya can directly build products based on the data from their consumers. The process allows manufacturers to deliver the products directly to the consumer, cutting out the middleman and streamlining many lengthy processes. This is thus improving the user experience. So also, their e-commerce platforms, like the My Store, allow consumers to be part of this exclusive club for a fee, this receiving discounts on goods. This is another strategy to encourage consumers to be on their low-frequency apps rather than their high-frequency apps. And finally, just a funny thing, their business has a very unique marketing strategy to encourage more female drivers. So superstar roles are targeted to females to improve their confidence in speaking to strangers, as well as potentially finding a future partner. How successful this strategy is another question in itself. So to discuss whether their strategy is strong, let's pass on to Simone. Oh.
Yeah, finally we have the international strategy, which we saw actually in the presentation. First focusing on the Chinese students in the US, then all students, and then go global.
So we'll pass on to Simone and Stephen, who are going to be discussing the advantages and weaknesses of Anaya.
Next, talk about the streets. Lower price and safer food is the best combination to have a successful market. Price and quality are the main evaluation criteria. Analyze guarantees to university students who deliver safety. And this is important factor for this market because in other countries, people who work for the delivery companies is not very safe. The university students can choose from a large catalog of products what they want and they can choose where take food in class also. In class also. Many university students spend most of the day studying, and they often cannot work. And I get the opportunity of doing a flexible work and earning something. Improve the image of company meal thanks to the good image of Anaya and customer satisfaction. The partnership with the university cantines is strategic for both parts because they don't compete. Now, next we talk about weakness.
Now we will talk about weaknesses. There's 5 points of weaknesses we found out in Anaya. The first one is scalability. Anaya is only targeting for college students. That means Anaya have only 25 million users. So in the future, if they want to grow the revenue, it's a bit hard. That's the second one. Next. The second one is a variety of tenants. So if a student want to eat KFC, but the canteen doesn't have KFC, what would they do? They will just order in Meituan or Alma. Next. And the three is size of campus. Not all universities in China is this big. So yeah, not all. Most of them is just like medium to small sizes, don't have dorm or even canteen. The fourth, the lack of focus. So Anlay is just 5 years old, but they already have so many apps. The first one they started with student-to-student delivery, and then today they already have e-commerce and even supply chain store management. This so really broad and can result in unmeasured product. The last one is expanding to global without localization. So we all know that Chinese app, if we download and install it, they will require a lot of permission, like contact, camera, audio. But if they want to expand to the US, to the West, they need to really serious about that, because the European or even the US, they really care about their privacy. So they need to change that, and maybe the UI. Okay, next. Okay, after that we will talk about the opportunities, starting with my own country, Indonesia. In my own country, the campus is not a big like China. We don't have a dorm inside the campus, and we already have a super app called Gojek that value at more than $10 billion, and it's really hard for online to compete with them. Okay, next we hear from Brazil.
Okay, so in Brazil, Alaya would have two main challenges to face. They would need to compete against iFood, which is the most used food delivery app in Latin America, and also against the university restaurants, which charge like 50 cents over dollar for students to eat as much as they want. So, but these competitors still have some downsides. For example, iFood, they charge high delivery fees. So if you buy like a $5 meal, you probably need to pay more $5 for the delivery. And the university food is really, really bad. So there's a gap between the price of the university food and the food delivery that we explore in Brazil.
So in Australia, we don't have much of a canteen culture, so I don't think the cafeteria app would work. However, we do have a very high amount of international students from China, as Jackson mentioned, about 180,000, I think. So instead of this campus cafeteria delivery, they could adapt their product to be more of a supermarket, to do more supermarket delivery, so more local Chinese cuisine products to Chinese students.
In Italy, the eating culture are totally different. I think that now Analai can explain his business in Italy. The Italian people eat totally different food, and we prefer restaurant than delivery.
In Holland, students are more spread out. Usually they don't live on campus, and therefore it's not as concentrated as in China. And there's already the presence of other food delivery apps, including a Dutch startup, which is very powerful.
And in Spain, there's not really a campus life, and normally Spanish students live at home, and the foreign students, they live in random dorms throughout Spain, for example, so not necessarily close to university. So in this case, they will not be useful. They should compete with food delivery companies, but there's like two main ones which are basically monopolizing the food delivery in Spain. So it would be pretty complicated to enter the market. So now we're basically going to talk about our recommendations.
So the first one we came up with was for them to keep their service going on during summer vacation, so they can give us their service, like for the foreigners that come here for summer programs, such as we are, and so we get to know their brand and how their service work in real life. So this way they can get some do some benchmark and get some data about foreigners' behavior and preference before they go outside China.
And And we also thought of investing in canteens because the canteen meals are very limited because at the end of the day it's a canteen, not a restaurant. So by investing in a canteen, you not only improve the quality and the variety of food, but people will also go more to the canteen, they will also order more, so that we will have in general more revenues. And also we can, by investing, we can also ask for exclusivity, so ask the canteen to only have us as a delivery mechanism.
So another interesting thing they could do is to provide a pre-order service, so students can have meals or snacks at night, either because they're
This is Brandy, Maria, Harry, Jackson, and me, Claudia. And we also need to thank Giovanni, who could not be here today with us, but has also contributed thoroughly to the presentation. So this is the topics that we're going to be covering today. First, we're going to be introducing the company, brief introduction, even though many of you know what Anlaye is. We're also going to be analyzing its business model, introducing the ecosystem, and analyzing its cash-out platform. Also, the key successful factors in China so far. How has it successfully expanded into America, and also a potential expansion into Australia. And we're also going to wrap up the presentation with some recommendations that we have for the company to improve. So Anlaye was established in 2015 as an online to offline platform focused on college and university campuses. So it is currently present in 10,000 campuses across China, which count for 1/8 of all the China's campuses. And they have as a main objective to eliminate the pinpointed stress at canteens and ensure students can enjoy meals from the dorm without delays, guaranteeing a 29-minute delivery. We also need to point out that Anlaye is not only a food delivery app, but also a social platform for its users. As we can see currently, there are 1.5 million daily active users, and it serves specifically students aged 18 to 22 years old. Anlaye also places a strong emphasis on being a takeaway to compete with Uber Eats and other competitors within the same industry by offering, for example, a social platform. And so other key indicators, we have to say that each order incurs only a 2 RMB fee, delivery fee. And currently, after this social platform has been introduced, the users currently spend 15 minutes on the platform, whereas before they spent only 3 minutes. And also, when we went to the company, they said that if the student, for example, does not want to pay for their food, they can pick up a few other orders to cover for the cost of their order. So this is Anlaye's basic model. So first of all, the consumer is very basic. So the consumer makes an order via the Anlaye's application. The canteen then receives and makes the order, and then the deliverer picks up and delivers the order, and finally the consumer receives the order at the door. So the supply chain is pretty basic and simple. So and now.
Thanks for earlier. Let's move on to the ecosystem. Actually, Anlaye had already built a campus O2O service ecosystem, which including food, grocery, delivery, and social media and campus media, and so on. Let's see the details. Firstly, food grocery delivery is Anlaye's main and original function, and it's also its main sources of revenue at first. And secondly, Anlaye also provides service for the students' daily life, like the second-hand reading and lost and found, and provides some study tips. And also it can help the society manage their events and promote their events. Thirdly, Anlaye also has a social and campus media system. For social media system, it can help build the campus groups, maybe based on hobbies and majors. And it also allows users to post their emotions and status in a more local platform. And it also attracts more users by utilizing the KOL. For the campus media, it has both online media and offline. However, for the offline, Anlaye has covered 37 cities and 1,000 units.
For the career service, I provide the platform for students to search for the internship and part jobs. It also has a recommendation system, which can recommend the student who has been in Xiyouxia, the delivery stuff before. And next is the IP products, which we will talk about later for details. Last but not least, for the graduate services, Alaya has built 2 science, technology, and cultural industry parks for the graduated entrepreneur. Okay, let's move on to the.
Thank you, Harry. So, as has been mentioned, to cash out and get revenue, Alaya has 4 main revenue streams. It's the new retail, IP products, e-commerce, and advertising, where advertising is one of the biggest ones. When it comes to delivering food, during the summer months, they make no money from retailing because students are not at the campuses at this point. However, during that period, their biggest revenue comes from My Store commission, training and tourist products, and advertising. It is also worth mentioning that the ratio of their revenue is 1 to 10, where they have to utilize the revenue that they get during the 9 months over the 12-month period. To counteract some of their losses in a way, they have invented something called HR innovation, where they don't employ students full-time during the summer period, but rather allow students to get some social credit by actually working for free and delivering food.
Thanks for Maria. Let's move on to the IP product. Alaya has cooperated with several very famous food manufacturers like Mengniu, like blurry, to create a new unique co-branding, and using it to produce some IP products like milk, soy milk, and nuggets. And okay, let's see some features of the IP product. Firstly, Alaya can take advantage of the reputations and influence of the big famous food manufacturer, and which it makes it easier to promote their IP products. And secondly, Alaya engage students to assist in process of designing, testing, and quality control, which it maybe make the IP product more suitable for university students, and which make it always successfully to promote it. And thirdly, it can be sold at a higher price because of its unique brand and packaging. The IP products are not only available within the campus, it's like limited edition, and which makes it more attractive. And for the packaging, for example, the Wei soy milk, it has 18 different slogans on the packaging. So it can attract students to buy more and collect more. And last, Alaya have planned to expand their IP products to the whole society in the future by the Yijingjing app, an app for the society for sellers. And it will build a strong society distribution system.
So to continue diversifying their product services, Alaya has developed the My Store function. This targets both the social and on-selling platforms that they are able to utilize, and their main advantage is of shortening the supply chain between the supplier and the consumer. Through their membership payment of 200 RMB, the young social merchants are able to curate their own personal store with a choice of over 200 retailers to select from, and then by virtue of co-sharing and informing friends and consumers, they're able to on-sell at a discounted rate to these people. The My Store function of the Alaya app was developed as a way to engage users as they continue into the workforce, and it offers a function of the application permeating a transcendence beyond the campus boundary, and hopes to continue the growth as new students come in and as graduates leave, and continue through this platform to make money for themselves. This was seen as an increasing the longevity of the user experience, and as Claudia said, the user experience has now generated from 3 minutes to 15 minutes, largely because of the social interactions and community involvement that is on these platforms. and the profit margin is quite minimal as it relies heavily on the sheer volume of the C2C applications and the amount of users that they have. So therefore, there's only a small amount of revenue percentage which MBA actually takes from this platform, but they actually generate a fair margin and commission from these.
Yes, so to sum up before we go on to their global expansion, there's key successful factors that allowed Analyze to get so successful in China. So one of the key successful factors is that they deliver only on campus and from the canteens close to the dorms, which means that they reduce the delivery times and also delivery days. Other competitors in the market do the same thing, but they don't concentrate on campus canteens and actually take the food out of the restaurants and other retailers. The app is not only, as I said, food delivery system, but also a social platform, so students can also interact and they can use different student services. The next point is that there is also potential recruitment opportunities for the CEOs. So Analyze allows employers to utilize the platform to engage and view potential and future employees there. Furthermore, they're able to cash out on the advertisements, as we mentioned earlier, partially on their sub-brand, for example, Food. And last but not least, products are protected through intellectual property and therefore cannot be used outside of their platform. Despite the successful factors, there is a certain struggle, and that is retaining students once they graduate. But Analyze already set in motion a certain strategy, and they believe that there is a high turnover of students, so graduating students are going to be replaced by freshmen, which will allow the amount of students to at least keep the same. And the second one is that both graduating students and current students will spread the word and promote online, not only within China, but also Chinese students going abroad. They will be able to promote the services there. And last, they can continue to own my store after they have graduated. Thus, in case they have low salary or something, they can promote those services as well. However, the Chinese campus market is limited. So Brand is now going to introduce their expansion to America, which will be followed by Jackson's introduction of the potential expansion to Australia.
Looking at their global outreach, Atlanta's subsidiary Upcoming has already expanded to 7 North American universities in just the last 9 months, and they're looking to get to 20 by the end of this year. There are currently 19.6 million total students enrolled in U.S. universities. Of those, 40% of public school students live on campus and 64% of private school students live on campus. That means they have the opportunity to target about 9.2 million U.S. students under their current business model without changing a thing. They have 1.1 million total international students. Of those, 30% are Chinese, which fits with their current clientele, 80% Chinese students living abroad, 20% other students. Their strategy for expansion includes the creation of a separate app for the international market, which is already available. One big challenge to successful further expansion is that it's currently only available in Chinese, but they are mitigating this by releasing a separate language pack this year, which will make the app available in 14 languages and allow flexibility for further expansion in new markets. Once they've completed this release, they'll be able to fully target the student bodies participating in universities and expand to the remaining 18 million U.S. students and the global market. The other big challenge to their U.S. strategy is competition from existing U.S. companies, as we mentioned, Uber Eats and Amazon Fresh, which cost over U.S. on their reputations.
Yeah, I'll just keep this brief because I'm conscious of time. But if successful in America, we believe the next step for a global strategy and growth for MBA is Australia. Personally, I have experience in Australian institutions, obviously, but there is currently 125,000 Chinese students within Australian institutions, and 65% of that number is at GO8, so at only 8 universities. So there's about 65 to 70,000 in 8 universities only. So the expansion, I think, is centralized to that as a test market, which we see as quite a limitation. The only other factor that must be considered is the shifting of the business model from the canteen and cafeteria to using retailers, because there isn't that huge supply on campus and looking locally.
Thank you. So to conclude this presentation and putting a little bit of all the ideas that we've been saying, we came up with some recommendations. So first of all, it would be monetizing the data that actually this app has. Then new ways of using the customer base that Analyze has. So adding new services, for example, 24-hour service, or breakfast, or drinks, or using other businesses existing in campus, such as libraries, pharmacies, depending on also the country that they are having their activity. Also to engage new customers with that of doing, like, for example, activities for new students in campus. For example, Summer Camp would be a great idea. 30 more seconds, and we're done with the recommendations. Also, when expanding to new markets, we thought of translating apps not only for Chinese students abroad, but also for any type of other students existing all around the world. And we found out that they are really struggling with doing market research when reaching new countries. So it would be a great idea to promote or even sponsor Chinese studying abroad in order for them to realize or to carry out the market research and maybe set up or like test expansion to new campuses, for example, with smart boxes projects or something similar. To end up with the recommendations, we realized horizontal growth is hard to grow as much as they want to, so vertical growth is definitely the way to go. Also, it will need a lot of new research and a lot of discovering new opportunities that Analyze has. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Group 3, for a very comprehensive